Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monday's edition of National Matters. In the studio with me, I am honored to have a veteran in this nation, one of the veterans, and one of the people that have saved this nation at a higher level. Honorable William Harrington. Welcome, sir, to the program.
Thank you, Pastor Chiluba, for inviting me. It's really a great honor, privilege, and pleasure to appear on your program here to discuss national matters. I think most citizens will have a breather from, you normally have hard politics, and yet we are not paying due attention to issues of environment, which are so keen for us as a country. You cannot talk about sustainable development if you don't look after the environment.
It is long overdue.
Overdue.
Because
three years ago you told me about this. Remember we met at near Parliament
correct.
Assembly, and you told me you were going to have this thing.
And also at the mall.
I waited for 3 years.
My apologies. I hope you have forgiven me. Well, ladies and gentlemen, those of you watching this broadcast, please inform your friends. We are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on all the social medias. Let me not embarrass myself. I'm restricted in my way of operation. I just operate on WhatsApp. But these technical people, they've put this platform, and we have those of you who are watching in the diaspora, and may God bless you. Honorable, Camnet TV is a family TV. When I say family, it's watched by families that have a reason for living, families that have a vision. And so you find father, mother, children, they are watching because of the things that we've offload. And there could be some young boys and young girls watching Honorable Harrington and say, one day I'll be what he says tonight. But who is Honorable Harrington? You just give me some brief background, where you come from, which school you went to.
Yes.
And who inspired you to be in politics?
Absolutely. Firstly, let me just correct a misconception that's come out of your promo, because it says I'm concerned about the present government's the way it deals with environmental issues. That was prior to the last elections. I was talking about the PF government. I think that should be made clear. It was at the height of the Forest 27 controversy. So I thought I should make that very clear, because in certain circles, it's believed that it's a recent interview I had. I've never had an interview with Camnet for the last 3
we
years.
just picked that because you are so passionate about environment. Whether in Kaunda time, UNIP, MMD, PF, and now UPND, you've been there. That's why we picked that clip. I must defend our institution as well.
Well, I hope I picked the perception that I was talking about this government. No,
okay.
It was so, yes, just to answer your question, I'll try to observe brevity and be as brief as possible and to the point. You know, the issue of environment is not a subject you can discuss in 1 or 2 hours. You need a whole 6 hours or a day to deal with, to bring justice to this topic. It's a very wide topic. And
but tell us
let me just
Honorable is.
This fellow here, William Harrington, was born in Senanga 73 years ago. A lot of people think I'm 50 or 40. I don't blame them for looking young. Yeah, I was born at Senanga, one of the most beautiful towns. If God, I think, bestowed beauty to any part of Zambia, it's Senanga. I hope you have been there.
I've conducted the crusades in Senanga twice.
Yes, the environment, Senanga environment is next to none. Most beautiful part of the country, if not the world's. we need to exploit that.
Because you were born there.
Yes, absolutely. I'm very proud.
That's why you are promoting it.
Yes, I'm very proud of being born in Senanga.
Okay.
Yes. I went to school in Fatima School, which was a co-education that time, Fatima School in Indola. You know, there was no, there was segregation in terms of, you know, the indigenous black Zambians had their schools, the whites had their schools, but there was nothing for the so-called colored children. And then there was Fatima School, the German nuns were given land by Mr. Davison there. It was a boarding school, co-education. It's not anymore. Kaunda, they changed it.
Fatima became a girls'
It became the girls' school, but I'm a proud product of that school. When we finished, we graduated there, standard 5 qualifying. Out of 30 students, 4 of us got credits, the top 4. I was one of them. From there, I went to, that time, a lot of students now, and younger people don't know that it was Kablonga boys, it used to be called Sir Gilbert Rennie High School. They don't know that. Even you seem to be surprised.
It's the first time I'm hearing it,
Yes,
actually.
it was Sir Gilbert Rennie High School. And the girls' school was named after his wife, Jean Rennie. Jean Rennie, after the wife. But then it changed because of the education reforms. It became Kablonga boys, Kablonga girls. Okay? I didn't do well. I didn't get the 4 subjects. That's why I couldn't contest the last elections. I missed by 1 subject, unfortunately. I would have contested, maybe.
You
But,
missed one subject at Form 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I went to Hillcrest Secondary School to try and improve on my certificate. But then, because of the system that time, when you're at school, you are to a career, you know, you choose your career. And I chose, I want to be a farmer or something, agriculture. And I got a letter when I was at Hillcrest admitting me to NRDC, Natural Resource Development College, to do a course in ABM, Agriculture Business Management. And I got a distinction there. Out of 9 subjects, I got 3 distinctions, 5 credits, and 1 pass. One of them, subjects I did was law. I'm not a lawyer, neither can I pretend to be a lawyer. But I'm just a layman at law. I have some understanding about legal matters, which helps me in my environment.
So now, before you speed through, are we settling it that before 2026 you recite that 1 subject so that Zambia needs you at the age of 75?
I'm encouraged.
We should.
I'm encouraged by many people. They still say, there's a late John Manakatwe. He went to university, did the adults. He entered there and he got a degree. He was perhaps the oldest person, but he went to do I think he did law there, and he qualified as a lawyer. So I got I'm a very humble education, I'll admit. All I got is a diploma. I didn't go further than the diploma at NRDC, because after that I went to join my father's business, a family business in Nanga, W. Harrington and Sons, which was a trading company, transporting whatever, shops. My dad had 9 shops, so he needed his sons to help. So I went there. But then at a point I thought I needed to grow up, because staying with parents, from school, stay with parents, one never grows up. So I left, I went on my own, I opened up a transport, 1 truck. I had in moving fertilizer from Malawi to Lusaka, taking tobacco to Limbi and so on. And then it was tiring, so there was an opportunity in Monzi for an agency, Coca-Cola, Schweppes agency. I was so effective with my Schweppes selling Pepsi that it forced Coca-Cola to close their depot, because I competed with them so effectively, they had to close down, and they offered me the depot to run Coca-Cola, and of course Coca-Cola was more popular at that time. So after that, things developed. I became a transporter, moving cattle, fertilizer, so on. I'm a household name in Southern Province, if you don't know that. Amongst the people there.
Not only Southern Province, but Zambia.
Yeah, but so I'm that is basically. But when I was there, I got a phone call from VJ Mwanga, my brother VJ, saying I should call this number. Give me a number through somebody, and that number was State House. Yes, so I had just come back from Caribbean. I went to family for a little weekend on the lake there. And I got, who was on the end of the line was President Chiluba. Mr. Harrington, what's your program tomorrow? Tomorrow is Saturday. He said, Sunday I'm going to Malawi. I said, oh, Mr. President, what? He said, I want you to come for lunch. So, President, I don't even have a suit. How do I come and sit with you? I mean, I like kabudulas and stockings. I'm a field worker. I don't have suits. I'm not a suit man. And he says, you come. However you come with your kabudulas. But lucky, my late brother was living in Ilai with the same stature, late Walter. So I went into his cupboard and said, Walter, there's a crisis here. I'm called by the president. I don't have anything to wear. He said, no, look in the cupboard. I got a suit which I still keeping nicely. It's memento for me. And that's how I went. And he said, upstairs we had lunch. He said, let's have lunch. And he proposed to me to nominate me to Parliament. I said, Mr. President, nominate me. Politics is not my. He says, no, we recognize the contribution you made to the MMT in Southern
Which year was that?
It was 1990, 91. 91 after the...
91
yeah,
after
year one, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Because my tracks were very effective in mobilizing people in Southern Province. Each time the president came, there were MPs, late Benny Mwingas, all those Madienkuku, Shamujayes, and all those social minas. My trucks were moving people for their rallies. So the president recognized. He recognized my contribution, which I really treasure that recognition. And then President nominated Parliament. Now, perhaps I should have said, let me consult, but I had no way. My hands were tied. How could I say, Mr. President, I'm sorry. I said 6 months I was in Parliament, let's talk, people debate, get me the experience and so on in Parliament. And then one of the late Dalton Sokontwe, who was very close to President Chiluba, I had given him a lift one day from Parliament Motel to Parliament. And on the way he said, you know what? Soon you will be a minister. I said, me minister? Jesus. I'm not using God's name in vain.
No, it's an expression that... No.
You don't, I'm not.
I'll tell you when you go off.
So that was it. And then after 6 months of being as a nominated MP, he appointed me Minister of Transport, Communication and Transport, not Transport, Communication and Transport. At such a critical time, a time when we were now going under privatization and under structural adjustment.
UBZ was being...
Structural adjustment.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about UBZ. Structural adjustment under the World Bank and IMF and all this structural adjustment. And it was such a critical time. It was so hot to handle for me, but I managed anyway. UBZ, yes, Mr. Penza, late Penza, Minister of Finance, came to Cabinet with a list of companies to which he wanted liquidated because of IMF conditions. The IMF was saying, we're not going to bail Zambia out, we're not going to give you any of our taxpayers' money to put into loss-making companies. Zambia Airways, UBZ, etc. I objected in Cabinet. I said, Mr. President, I can appreciate what Mr. Penza is saying, but you cannot close UBZ just like that. I vehemently opposed.
And the Zambia Airways.
And Zambia Airways. And Zambia Airways. No, Zambia is another interesting story. So President Chiluba said, Mr. Minister, what are you talking about? What do we do with UBZ? I said, Mr. President, liquidate or support liquidation on one condition, yet you allow private sector to bring in duty-free buses. The President looked at me, looked at Penza. He said, Mr. Penza, we are announcing budget next week. Put that in your budget speech. Ordered him to put that in budget speech, and that was what happened. Today, I don't take credit for that. The legacy is for President Chiluba. I don't talk about it. He died with that legacy. He always boasted and said, look, under UBZ, under the one-party state where there was state monopolies of public transport like UBZ, you used to have 100 people waiting for one bus from Mongu to Lusaka. 100, 200 people waiting for 2-3 buses. Living all this. It was a crisis. And President Chiluba died with that legacy. Look, at least now you go to the intercity now. They'll tear you to bits.
There are a lot of buses.
No, they'll tear you to bits.
Really?
This one, yes, this one will pull this side, this one will pull this side. Uku, Iku, Amdala, Abba Pasta, Uku. You see? So there's a legacy, I can say, there's a legacy during my time as minister. Let people understand they don't know. Ask Mr. Ishmael Kankara, the owner of Flash Buses. We talk about it. He always remembers. If it wasn't for you, I would not have, these buses would not have been here, Flash Buses. Again, Zambia Airways, that we have to talk about Zambia Airways very briefly.
But let's go fast because I'm more interested in the topic tonight. Yes.
I also oppose the closure of liquidation of Zambia. People think, oh, Mr. Harrington's I never liquidated Zambia Airways. I also opposed it because I didn't feel Zambia was broke as such. It was not broke. It was liquid. It had invested in hotels in Mauritius.
A lot.
I went to hotel. Then my PS Ivy, late Ivy Tembo, so rest in peace, said, Mr. Minister, you know this hotel, Zambia's got shares. Yes.
Where?
In Mauritius.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
All over the world, Apple, New York, properties and so on. So I would have said, sell the shares, bail out Zambia Airways, pump in money Zambia Airways, let it continue. But Chiluba sent me to Montreal to attend the ICAO, International Civil Aviation Organization Conference Summit in Montreal. In time here, there was a crucial joint cabinet and NEC meeting to discuss what? Zambia Airways. Had I not phoned my secretary, Ivy, so, how I am Mr. Minister. How is Zambia? No, Zambia is all right, but bad news. What's the bad news, Ivy? I mean, Rose, your airline is closed, liquidated. When? 3 days ago. It pained me in a way because my government didn't have the courtesy of informing me as minister. Surely, I should have been the first one to be informed by State House. This is what's happened with this meeting, this resolution. And they got, there was a minister of work portfolio at the time, Godfrey Mianda. He's still around. He recalls that he was instructed to make that announcement. Not the Minister of Transport, but Minister of
he was instructed to,
That's what happened to Zambia Airways. The rest is history. But I tried my best quickly because there was a vacuum created with the closure of the UBZ. We sorted that out. Then the airline, there was a vacuum again. No airlines. What we do? Aero Zambia approached me, Mr. Tokov, late. He died in an aircraft accident some 2-3 years ago. Oh, he came to my office and said, no, go follow procedure. Go to DCA, apply. They'll give you the conditions. I got nothing to do with issuing licenses myself as minister. Go on, do the process. Don't come to me with my deal here. I'm above that. He never gave me $1. I could have made money if I was in some other government like the one which we just had recently. I would have been dancing also on the dollars on the mattresses. But I never. It's you know, the name is more important, and your integrity is more important than any amount of money.
So that's the only ministry you served?
No, I served also sport. One of the most important, interesting one was, for me, is environment. Because coming from a rural setting, which you seem to be very jealous about, that I come from Sananga, that was the most, because Chiluba told me when he appointed me that, Mr. don't take this appointment lightly, going from transport to environment. It's a key ministry. After the Rio Earth Summit, which Mr. Kelly went to attend in 1992, the famous Rio Earth Summit in
Brazil.
In Brazil, he put me to the minister and said, look, I know you are proactive. This is the right ministry for you. I want you to uplift the profile of this ministry. It's key. We will not have any sustainable development in any socio-economic sector without prudently managing our natural resources in this country. Like anywhere in the world, most countries are. Minister of Environment is under the Prime Minister. The next one is he says, Chiluba told me this is an apex ministry, and he was so supportive that in cabinet, if I wanted to debate on any paper which another minister bought, you say no, Mr. Minister, you debate last. Let me hear from others. Then you have the last say. He always give me the last say, and if I objected to it, You say, okay, that's it. Mr. Minister, the other one, go and bring the paper back. Consult Mr. Harrington. He's got concerns about your paper. Yes, how we encourage it. So encourage this. So for me, that was, and I realized, it made me realize that environment is cross-cutting. It's cross-cutting. That's why Chiroba had the Minister of Environment and Natural Resources, not Minister of Lands and Environment, no. Because it's cross-cutting agriculture. If you don't look at agriculture properly, this just indiscriminate use of pesticides, you know, which will go into the streams and pollute our rivers and streams. Fish die. If you don't look after the forest, the trees, the animals, because that's a habitat for the animals, for flora and fauna. It's in the thing. Mines. If you don't take care of the way you deal with the mines. We'll talk about the laws I'm busy, if you so wish later. It's interesting. Today, when the Kabwe mine, Broken Hill mine that time, lead and zinc, in the colonial times, perhaps the colonialists didn't mind. They were more worried about extracting the mineral than worrying about people's health. It's on record that the Kabwe mine is one of the most, if not the most polluted cities in the world because of the lead poisoning.
Really?
Yes. No,
you haven't told me, Honorable. How can you be bringing that on the set? You should have told me outside the set.
I suppose you're the same age, but you are living that time already.
Of course.
Yeah, Kabwe mine is the most polluted. Children are still dying. They're still affected by the pollution of the lead and zinc in their blood. Those big dumps you see outside there, it's all full of lead dust. Big wind comes, sweeps into the compounds, into the things. People have been affected.
So when you were Minister of Environment, you helped to reduce the pollution around.
Yeah, we got the Environmental Council to come up with a plan of how to mitigate the things. Another case in point is Mufira Kantanshi, Mufira mine. You can't grow anything there in that.
I know, yeah.
You can't grow anywhere. Nothing grows there. You can't grow lawn. You can't grow flowers.
Especially where the wind goes this side, yeah.
But those are all environmental things. You know, some governments, especially this one, and the previous one, they think environment is about charcoal burning. That's the critical. It's not that. Yes, but what about pollution from the mines? There's risk involved in if you get it's a disaster. But Mufira mine.
Yeah.
Nothing to take.
Let me ask, if Mufira contributes to the pollution of the city of Mufira, did you close the mine when you were minister, or you were making steps to close the mine? What would have been the remedy?
You see, one of the biggest challenges that countries like Zambia have, and any country in the world, is to balance development and environment. The argument is that the mines bring in money. Okay? Like the argument we see now over the laws and busy, that no, it's income generating, we need revenue, we got Congolese to pay, and all that. So then, what about the environment? And how do the mines already operating? It's about putting in measures to mitigate, to reduce the pollution from mining operations. And there's one in the Red Indian said, it's a famous saying, he said, only when the last tree has dried and the last river been poisoned and the last fish been caught will we realize we cannot eat money. So I do not fall for the argument over the Lower Zambezi that no, we need money. I don't buy that.
So are you against setting up a mine in Lower Zambezi?
From the environmental and from the tourism perspective, yes.
Okay.
I'm not against the company. I'm not against. I'm not personal in my dealings. I'm never personal against anybody. You know, life is too short to make enemies. Pastor Silva. Life is too short to make enemies with anybody. It's not worth it. I'm against setting up a mine in a
Lower Zambezi
sanctuary like that. It's an attraction in the world, one of the best sanctuaries. The argument, no, it's some Wazungus only who are benefiting, they've got lodges there, they don't, so there's no money coming. There's a lot of money coming. How do people, tourists, fly in? Don't they use our Zambian airlines and all this to come in and stay in hotels, Southern Sun Hotel, where my daughter works? Don't they come and stay there? 2-3 nights, then they go to things. So the argument about this, look, in any case, mining is a wasting asset, okay? We don't know how long the mine there is going to last. Maybe 5, 10, 30 years, doesn't matter. But posterity is forever. We've got to look after the natural resources. For our generation and for future generations, our children's children must benefit from natural resources. You cannot allow such an open pit of such scale in one of the most pristine. You know, I'm telling you, Pastor, it's going to affect our tourism because a lot of countries in the region depend on that.
May I ask you this?
Zimbabwe, Namibia, Botswana, Mozambique, they depend on that.
May I ask you this, Honorable?
Please go ahead.
To sanction for the setting up of a mine or not, is it a cabinet decision or is it a minister's decision who is in charge, like the minister of, is it cabinet?
Firstly, the proponents of any such project must follow procedure. One of the procedures is to go through ZEMA, Zambia Environmental, which is the forerunner to that was the Environmental Council of Zambia. And at my time as minister, I even officially commissioned the office opposite the cathedral. You know where Zema is now? I commissioned that thing as minister. So that's another legacy I can boast about. Anyway, they've got to follow procedure. And what happens is that they have to do a study. The proponents say, this is what we are going to do. Zema looks at it. Okay? They have to make assurance that there's got to be no pollution, blah, blah, blah. And here, in fact, I've got an article which I might want to read to you if you have time, where it shows that there could be cyanide. Yeah, cyanide pumped out without anybody knowing, and then it's put into let it flow into the pollutant. Now, cyanide is a deadly poison. Don't talk about the gas which are there. So there's one reason why. Secondly, the poaching, for me, is going to be, now because, listen, a mine like that one, you expect to have 200, 300, 400 people staying there. They cannot go to Rufunsa to go and stay and come back next morning. They'll be accommodated there. So you can imagine, what are they going to live on? You think they're going to go to ShopRite and buy beef? They're going to slaughter those animals. So really the world is watching. The tourist world is watching. Yes, and I can tell you, it's very, very negative on our tourism. The UPND government prioritized tourism.
You haven't answered my question, Honorable. You are taking me through the steps.
Okay.
I am saying, is it a cabinet decision?
Oh, I see. Yes. If there's any controversy or any issues, the minister takes to cabinet and says, look, there's this project, But normally, like in this case, I would like to believe that ZEMA, in their first decision letter, they did not support. They were against the mine in Lower Zambezi. But then you see the ZEMA Act, Zambia Environment Act, provides that if the proponents are not satisfied, they are free to appeal to the minister. Okay, and that's what happened. They appealed to the minister. It's not important to say who is the minister, what we're talking about, because I don't want to be personal here. The minister overruled them.
Without taking it to cabinet?
I don't take it into cabinet, no. He doesn't have to take it to cabinet. The minister is under the act. He's got discretionary powers to make a decision on his own.
You see, why I'm asking this, Honorable, I've not been in cabinet. Yes, you give a minister to make decisions on behalf of the nation. Just like a president, if he's not properly guided, he can leave the nation in the ditch.
Yeah, sure.
This is why you have collective agreement. So to just say a minister can sign and authorize, I feel it's injustice. And if those are the powers allocated to the minister, they should be looked at again. Because when you bring something to compare, Pastor Chuba, what do you think of this? I may give you a different opinion. So if you are the final authority and you just sign, such are the consequences. That's why I was asking, why should you allow a minister to authorize the setting up of a mine in that place, Lower Zambezi?
Okay.
And that without, I know you know this, Honorable, that some people in the diaspora and the other countries, they've laughed at the decision we have made. You know, yes, we are going for money, but that decision is not a good decision.
You see, when let me take the interest. Let me maybe I don't know if I've answered your question.
You have?
Yeah. Even over the Forest 27 issue, there was no cabinet. Cabinet was not consulted because normally the minister. But in that case, to the best of my knowledge, it was not a cabinet decision. It was a decision of the Minister of Lands who issued out, authorized the issuance of title deeds there.
But that's
now you see, now the issue is here, and this is crucial. What are the Zambian laws and procedures which were seriously breached? Because my fellow senior environmentalist, Robert Chimambo, brought it to my attention. Says, I mean, Honorable, that good work that Chiluba did to re-gazette it as a protected forest has been overturned by his thing, by the immediate past president. Immediate past. Again, I don't want to be personal. We all know who it was. He overturned. He cancelled those. He de-gazetted to pave way for
President Manawasa.
No. Immediate past.
Or President Lungu.
Yes. It's good you have mentioned yourself.
No, because you see, this is a TV. If we start pulling back the benches,
No.
we've got to be very straight than speaking parables.
Yeah.
You know?
Edgar Chagwa Lungu de-gazetted to pave way because there was pressure. And that's why you see politics and environment again. When you got political pressure, cadres are there. We need land. Elections next year. What about if we lose? We'll have no land. We need plots. I'm a plot. He was under pressure. So what does the Minister of Lands do? Takes the thing to demarcate plots there, 200-300, I don't know how many thousands of plots there, to give senior party officers. No advertisement done. You would have liked to have a plot. Your cameraman would like to have a plot there. But it was secretive. There was no transparency in it. And that's the sad part about it. It was done undercover, no advertisement, because normally there should be Zema, no EI. When Robert Chimamba brought this to my attention, we did a preliminary study, we did a research to find out where the procedure was followed. Zema, no EIA conducted. Okay? WAMA, no consultation, except for the ZAF base, because there's two issues. There's the ZAF base, and then there's the controversial Forest 27 that side. Forestry Act, Director of Forestry, not because the Director of Forestry is the custodian of forest. You went to him. He says, he's uncanny. Not consulted. He said, our job. You see? Not consulted, just told you, shut up here. Regional and Town Country Planning Act, no authority obtained from LCC. Because under the Town and Country Planning Act, Regional and Town Country Planning Act, the Minister of Land should have got authority, or even those developers should have got authority from the LCC. We went to the LCC. The director says, you people, you appeared on Prime TV last week. We didn't know. But you people talked about it. That's when we brought it. We didn't know there was developments taking place there. The whole Regional and Town Country Planning Act was violated. The Public Health Act. Listen, you cannot have, and that's why Zema opposed it, because You go to 300,000-400,000 houses, each one with a soccer way. A soccer way is, for all intents and purposes, it's a pit latrine. For God's sake. Because now the thing about the peculiarity about that forest is that it's a water aquifer. The water aquifer is very high. A small 10 feet, 15 feet, 20 feet, there's water there. Now if you're going to build a soccer way there, with all sorts of material.
Which means the underground water will be full of fecal matters.
Of fecal matters and household chemicals, Harpic and so on, they'll be all put there. President Hakainde, he went there to Chongwe and he saw people were showing him fish dying. He showed him the fish that were dying because of the ZAF development. There was condoms floating in the water. Yes. In those streams there, Charimbana and Chongwe, they were polluted because of the development. But because of the greed that some human beings have, greed for land and wealth, they ignored all that. And that's why you say environment, you should worry about the concerns of present, safeguard their interests, present and future generations.
That time you were talking about the same Forest 27. You were very strong, very vocal, and some people who are now ministers in this UPND government, they are on record. When you talk about environment, I didn't want to show you the clips of some vocal ministers who said, when we come into power, we'll demolish this.
You should also, don't beat about the bush. You know them. Mention.
No, I'm just saying.
You challenged me also.
No. I'm just saying.
Let's be Gary Combo. Let me say it for you.
It's you who have mentioned it.
Gary Combo, my friend, my good friend, he said it on the floor of the house.
Yeah, so why is it that that thing was not demolished? Because I'm told that even some UPND people have got plots there.
There are 2 or 3 other ministers in the cabinet who have got plots there.
So why was it not demolished?
But that's a question you should ask the government. We were expecting it. We were waiting. Even now we are still waiting. We're waiting. We just wait. Look, you can, with some of these things, you can stand, you make your point in life. We made our point over that, what I refer to as the most critical, scandalous, selfish, environmental scandal there. That one. Posterity will judge us. We are only custodians of the environment. We who are still alive. We are custodians for those who is not our property. The environment is not our property. It's property of those children yet to be born. It's up to us to safeguard their lives and their future. But I'm saying you can climb on the highest tree, on the highest mountain, and make your point and shout. If you're not sitting on that cabinet table, in that cabinet room, you don't have a voice there. What more can you do? What more can you do? So I'm hoping that that statement, that assurance given by my good friend Gary Nkombo, Honorable Member of Parliament for Mazabuka and Minister of what? Local government?
Local government.
Yes. Why can't he be challenged on the floor of the House? Why can't the MPs, I hope they are watching. Parliament is now sitting. Ask the government. Ask the government. Ask the Vice President, leader of the Speaker, to issue a statement. What is the latest? What is government position? On
Forest 27.
Forest 27 and everything. Even the laws and bills, not in court. I believe they want to take, they might appeal the environmentalists.
So there is no government position on both Lower Zambezi and the Forest 27?
Currently.
The current government?
It's quiet. All I heard was the minister, by the way, about a year ago, the Minister of Land said, no, we are looking for $60,000. You recall that? To carry out a study. It shocked me because, you see, that's why institutional memory is very good. Institutional memory. This.
Yeah.
I sent a copy of this to him, and I wrote to him. I said, I reminded him.
You sent it to him?
Yes.
Mr. Muchima?
Muchima, I sent it to him. I sent it to him. I said, why do you want to waste $60,000? From where? He said, no, under Worldwide Fund and all this together. I said, but there's a report, and it says very clearly that as far as the study is concerned, that there should be no developments in Forest 27. That's what this thing. Why is the government... You see, the trouble we have reports. You spend money on these reports, and they get dust on the shelves.
So who wrote this report?
No, it's called... this is German cooperation with Zambia. Zambia government and German government together, joint cooperation. It's an institution called BGR, Federal Republic of Germany. Federal Institute of what? The title of this thing is Development of a Groundwater Information Management Program for the Lusaka Groundwater System. What did Mr. Mchima, what was you, why procrastinate, why cheating people? Why must he cheat people that they need to do a study? That is just delaying, what you call procrastinating. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Refusing, ignoring, or neglecting to do the needful. Then we heard no.
So this document was there before they came in power?
Yes, this is 19, yes, recommendations here. It was long before. I think it's 19 after I tell you. You see? And the recommendations are at the back here. I sent this to him. I said, no, forget about spending that type of money. There's a report. You study it and do the needful. Here. But he kept quiet. He didn't even answer me. I was not favored with a response from him.
This is why, Honorable, this is why I say, you know, it is good when you people are in politics. If you are leaving the office, let somebody taking over from you ask, what do I need to know in this? Like you are saying, institutional memory. There are even these documents.
Yeah, I wrote, here's the open letter I wrote. It was an open letter I wrote to him on Wednesday, March 29th, 2022. Received. Here's the stamp, received. Where's the camera?
There.
Received. I'm not talking from without. I brought my evidence. I'm well armed for this, for this program here. Yes, because I knew this issue would come up. So I brought evidence to show that I sent it to him. He cannot refuse that he never got it. He is stamped by his office.
So has he responded to this?
No. You see?
Has any action been taken?
And I even wrote to one person, I said to him, the nation recalls that the United Party for National Development, UPND, whilst in opposition, made the campaign promise on the floor of the House that, quote, the first thing that the new government will do after winning the August 12, 2021 general elections is to demolish all illegal structures in Forest 27 and Forest 7. Yes. Yes. And then I said in my conversation, Honourable Minister, you will note from the above technical report and hydrological map that Chongwe district in which Forest is situated is vulnerable to underground and surface water pollution and contamination from any housing development or other human activity. This report, not me. I'm quoting from this report. So what's the point of having reports and all these expensive things if we don't respect the reports?
So, Honorable, if I may ask, because as you said, environment is a wide subject.
Very wide.
And like you rightly said in your opening remarks, whenever we think of forest, environment, we are thinking of charcoal banners.
Yeah, that's it.
Stop them.
Yeah.
Let's restock the trees. Let's plant some trees. But it goes deeper than that. Do you see us as a nation addressing these critical issues and putting a stop on them?
Most of the time it's rhetoric, my opinion, my own opinion. The Minister of Environment, Green Economy and Environment, I heard on the news this morning, he was quoted as having said that he's going to introduce tariffs or levies to discourage use of charcoal, to reduce charcoal production. Very nice, but it will not work unless you give people alternatives. Reduce gas, LPG gas, to a bare minimum so that people have an alternative. Coal briquettes, there are some people who like to invest. I think it's a company I saw I met some guys, they're in the garden market there, they were delivering some coal briquettes. Encourage those people to produce in a massive scale so that people will not have an excuse to use charcoal. LPG gas, you go to Ndola, it's just burning in the air. Why not harness it, capture that, and produce? Bring in, I think there's already duty-free incentives on importation of gas stoves. I haven't really researched much on that one. But gas stoves and gas cylinders, I believe there's... but that's the way to go. Otherwise...
But that's a cost. Can my grandmother, can my aunt in Chinsali afford a gas cylinder? And
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make it more or less free. Look, the government's got a lot of money. Keep them out, token amounts, you know. But the trouble that we Zambians, for some reason, I go to, I see even go in the high-cost housing areas. You find the madam is cooking in a mbala outside, but she's got a 4-plate stove inside. But she's outside cooking on a mbala. Because anyway, it's they say food tastes better when you cook on a mbala. And I can get over the weekend, my daughter and I, we cooked a very big pot of beans like this. Very nice from the mbala. Cooks nice and very nice.
So you are contributing to the environment?
No, I'm saying, on a serious note, we still use it. We still use it.
Can I ask Honorable Harrington, do we need education from schools, from universities, and does the government or members of parliament, do they need to undergo some kind of education to conserve our environment?
Of course, education is absolutely critical. We need to embark on a very critical sensitization campaign of the dangers. But we sound like broken records sometimes, you know, we keep repeating these things. Of course, that's the way to go. Education, people can understand and appreciate. You see, what worries me also, if I can just go back a bit, about deforestation. There's the story about the government inviting Kenyans to come and get about, what, 40,000, 400,000 hectares?
Yeah.
Somewhere in Zambia, I don't know where. I hope it's not Barosiland.
No, it's...
We'll object.
To object.
Yeah.
Why just Barosiland?
Because we want to preserve our environment. It's already gone. Because why? Listen, when these people come and open up commercial farms,
they will bring chemicals.
Not only that, they're going to destroy it, to plant those pivots. Go to
Center
Mukushi now.
pivots, yeah.
Go to Mukushi. One of the biggest pivot farmers there is Costain Chilala. Mazabuka, man. You know, the environment there is so damaged over the last 20 years that most people from the Tongas have moved to Serenge. Mukushi, Serenge, that side, they open up big farms, and he's one of them. But I'm saying if you bring in more, what's going to happen to the environment? The amount of trees that is being cut for charcoal is been nothing compared to what the damage those farmers are going to bring to that area. That even that Kasanka, the famous bats, you know the bats?
Yes.
The annual, the habitat is going to finish, but it's attracting tourists. It used to, it may not anymore.
Has it been given away?
Yes, there's some Kenyan, I believe it's a Kenyan company, or is it Tanzanian company, they've been allowed to operate. I don't know whether they're still going ahead, but that's the crisis of it. That Kasanka. When my children were at school in Chengelo there, annually they used to, those who volunteered, take the school children to go and appreciate nature. You know, millions of bats used to migrate from to what you call to Kasanka, to the Kasanka. So that's
the issue of environment cannot be ignored. You know about it. Many people are getting to know about it. There is one man in South Africa. This is not South African politics. Julius Malema is advocating for repossession of land without compensation. And when you give out so much land to foreigners, you don't see a situation where Zambians will be landless?
In Zambia, Zambian citizen?
Yeah.
No, Zambia has got a lot. I think Zambia has got maybe one day, but their population compared to the size of the country, you see, it's just that Zambia is one of the most urbanized countries in Africa. Urbanized in the sense that a lot of people leave their homes, rural areas, come to town.
Yeah, but we are waking up now. There is education through you, through Camnet, through everyone is knowing the importance of land. I'm just saying, like one foreigner being given 20,000 hectares of land. Is that, if there are 10, you give them 20,000 hectares?
Was it on Cabinet News this evening where they carried the story about these people in Lilai, somewhere protesting against three landowners. One of them is even a doctor. And the local people are saying, look, we're not going to, we want President Akenji to come and help us here. We're not going to move from this land. Because they started building and building and building, not knowing that there's people who got title. But you see, another thing which worries, which a lot of people worry about is that, like for example, Forest 27. I think the minister said something to the effect that no, we cannot just demolish because it's litigation. We are afraid of being sued as a state. After people who got title deed, you know, we are afraid that we might pay a lot of money to compensate. That argument again is not valid because there are not two types of laws. When it comes to poor Zambians, the government doesn't hesitate to think. Look at Chisombe Airport in Chingola. Is it Chingola?
Kasompe Airport.
Yes.
They demolished.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was no what compensation business. But here, because there are mansions, mansions, even those they were mentioned, but not on the scale we see here in Forest 27. You've never been there. I should take you there, you go and see. Fences made out of wrought iron.
Really?
Yes. But listen, it's about government being decisive and committed. If you make an assurance, carry it out. You know? Because one day it's going to catch up with you. And people ask questions. You're coming to campaign now, 2006. 2026.
2026. Yeah.
In Kanye Forest, what's happening? People in Chongwe. They'll ask. People will start getting cancerous diseases there.
But we've been also asked.
But why have double standards when it comes to demolitions? Why are certain people spared and other people they're moving? In a case in Kenya, in Kenya, you remember the story? Who was it? The last president, not the one.
Kenyatta.
Was it Kenyatta? It was brought to his attention that there were some big structures constructed already in a ecologically sensitive area near water source. He ordered bulldozers.
Really?
Yes. It's on camera. I've got it. He demolished. He ordered demolition. Now that's what you call a serious environmental president who worries about.
And he compensated.
Well, I don't know about compensation.
But he demolished.
Yes.
Finished the structures.
Finished down, smashed. But here, no, my votes, Kapena, you know, these people are MPs. If we demolish them, we'll lose elections next year. They'll go and decampaign us. Those arguments, you see. So politics and environment sometimes also we have to prioritize.
We've been carrying a story, Honorable, the people of Chongwe. We've carried this on Camnet for quite some time. It's our interest. The poor people of Chongwe there, they've got vast land. And even the graveyards of their ancestors are there. But now it's been fenced, and they are giving it to some investors, even removing those graveyards which are there. What would you say as a minister?
Moving graves for Zambians.
Of course they will eventually, because when you fence it, how do we go to our parents' graveyard?
But that's why I'm saying again, it's the planners. The planners are at fault. They should research and find out, consult consult the local people. Any developments, consult the people. Had they done a due diligence and consult the people, they would have not given that land. But it's capital, again, money. And that's why the Indians say you can destroy this, you can destroy this, you can... But one day you will know that you will not eat money. Money will never buy anything. But the bottom line about certain issues in Zambia, the 427 and the laws and busy thing, can I read to you what the Constitution? In fact, what's happening there is against the principles of the Zambian Constitution. It's not just about... Yeah, I'll read for you. It's not just about these subsidiary laws about Zema and all this. What we are obliged to do as citizens. Let me read to you. This is the Constitution of Zambia. I think it can be seen there.
Yeah.
Or there. Right. Okay. Protection, this is under, you call this clause 256 or is it section 256? Clause, whatever. Okay, under protection of environment, natural resources, 256. A person has a duty to cooperate with state organs, state institutions, and other persons to 1, A, maintain a clean, safe, and healthy environment. Okay? Has that been done in 427?
No.
No. B, ensure ecologically sustainable development and use of natural resources. Has that been, is this principle observed in 427? No. And also, laws and busy. We are putting them as a package here. 2, respect, protect, and safeguard the environment. That's an obligation we have as Zambians. Everybody must, we all have to respect the Constitution. We are custodians of the Constitution. And the main custodian is the president. Is a president, not Hakainde Hichilema. Is the president. We're talking about that presidency because next 2 years there may be somebody else. We're talking about the institutional presidency. D, prevent or discontinue an act which is harmful to the environment.
So it says discontinue.
Yes. Discontinue is not by saying...
And it's in the law of Zambia.
Yeah, but it's not just by saying stop, no more building, no more, don't continue that mine, don't start building roads there, stop. Withdraw, if you are serious, government is serious about this issue, you revoke the license, mining license. Then people will appreciate. As it is now, look at 427. Didn't the minister Muchima and also Mr. Gering Kombo, my friend, they went there soon after the elections. What did they order? Ordered, just come but shall be talking. No more. And I'm using my home language now. I hope I'll be allowed. I hope I'll be allowed on camera to use it.
You can use it. I mean, this is a national television.
What happened? They're still building there. They're even putting ZESCO lines and the thing. So government has ignored all that, but and yet they issued a decree, not backed up by law.
Maybe the ministers haven't visited it as of now.
No. Now listen, here. Utilization of natural resources and management of the environment. This is under clause 257 or section 257. The state shall, in utilization of natural resources and management of the environment, protect genetic resources and biological diversity. What's happening there? These things are being destroyed. Okay? You destroy the trees to make houses, you are destroying the biodiversity and genetic resources. It's going to happen in the mines. All those elephants and things which attract tourists, the Ratamanga, they'll run away. Into Zimbabwe. So all those animals will benefit from them running away from that mine. Is Zimbabwe. Implement mechanisms that minimize waste. Okay, promote appropriate environmental management systems, encourage protect and enhance the intellectual property. And then F, ensure that the environment standards enforced in Zambia are essential benefits to citizens. Okay, to citizens. What's the best benefit to them? Is their health, isn't it? Yes. If you compromise the people's health, then they don't benefit from this. So those things, this is the supreme law of the land, correct? By the way, I was on the Mungomba. I'm a commissioner on the Mungomba, and I took part in formulating at least the preliminary work on the current constitution, and I know what I'm talking about. You deliberately included this one, and as being minister of a thing, I had a big input on this particular section of the constitution. So that what's happening here is a breach of the principles of the constitution. It falls under principles. It falls under principles here. Yeah. X1 is this what 12? Land and natural resources principles.
Now,
principles of natural resource management, and these are principles we're talking about.
Now, Honorable, every president from Dr. Kaunda to the current, when they win the elections, the swearing in is, I'll protect the constitution of Zambia. And when there are those anomalies, you point out, people like yourself, you point out, and they are not followed. So who do we blame? The government or the president, members of parliament, who can be there to say, look, Mr. President, look, UPND, look, PF, look, UNIP, you have
it's the lawmakers.
Flouted this.
It's the lawmakers. At the height of the third term, at the height of the third term debate, because Chiluba got people, pastors, not you, he got other pastors from door to come and promote his agenda after giving them envelopes. As we were presenting budgets in Parliament, each time the minister stood up to present a budget, there are certain MPs in opposition who were taunting, tell us, what's your position on third term? Tell us. When it came to my turn, I was presenting, I think, the budget for the Ministry of Commerce. I answered very simply. Okay? I said, Mr. Speaker, I stood on this very position here. And as a Catholic, I held the Bible in the hand, because I'm born Catholic and bred Catholic. I said, I stood on this very point, Mr. Speaker. I swore to uphold the Constitution of Zambia. It's not about President Chiluba here. It's about, does it permit for a third term of a president? My interpretation, as I said, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm just a layman at law. But my interpretation was that it's 2 terms, and Chiluba had, the president at the time had 2 terms. So I did not support the agenda of that president for a third term. That was my answer. But somebody was not very happy. In fact, he was fuming about it. But I stood my ground. I said, for me, it's a matter of principle and to defend the constitution of the people. It's a people's constitution, because it says our constitution. That's what it says in the preamble. So, we the people.
Yeah.
But
so let me ask you this.
He ordered for my dossier. The next frank talk here, I must tell people and you, the people, exactly what happened. He ordered for my dossier, looking for Kapena Anabandrama somewhere or corruption, clean. He was going to use that to fire me, but he couldn't. But he had to wait for an incident which happened in Nalsanga, the famous Nalsanga, where the pro-third termers ganged up against me and told him a lie, that me, the Minister of Tourism, I ordered the game wardens at Nalsanga to search all ministers who were supporting his third term after the conference in Mongo, provincial conference. Yeah. So he used that, He didn't listen to my point. He called me, but now we don't go into details. We were discussing. There's another argument for another.
Okay, what I want to ask, Honorable, is that you have helped me. You have helped the nation. This is how it's supposed to be. What if you have cowards of members of parliament who maybe they are backbenchers or they are ministers, but you have cowards who can't say, no, Mr. President, it's against the law. No, this government, you can't go. If
I doubt whether the majority of MPs we have in the House today, with all due respect, have even bothered to read the Constitution. This Constitution, if you don't follow it, is not worth the paper it's written on. If you don't follow it and read it, then it's a useless document. But it's up to them. I don't think if they were there, they would bring this up and say, hey, here's the thing here. There's a constitutional breach here. You see? What can we do?
I'll be able to.
What can we do?
I'll be able to bring some MPs here and be able to follow up that constitutional issue.
But I hope you call me also, so that I can also bring my argument.
Okay.
Yes.
We will talk about it. Going back to the environment,
yes.
Honorable, you were tourism minister.
Yes.
Why is it that Zambia does not generate a lot of resources or revenue through tourism? Kenya lives on that. You've been to West Indies, those islands. One of my favorite island is Antigua. It's a country where you drive 45 minutes, including traffic lights. You
Yes,
have
in the Caribbean.
Yes, in the Caribbean.
The water is like this.
Absolutely.
I've been to, what is that island? I went for a conference. I represented President Churu at one big conference there.
Yeah, but those small islands.
Yeah, in the Caribbean.
Tourism is the key sector there. Yeah. You have.
And they don't have wildlife.
Absolutely. You have bigger hotels than Pamoza and Intercontinental put together. You have 85 of those.
You know,
and they are full.
I have an answer for you, that one.
Yeah.
They have protected the environment.
But why can't we
are
promote?
Damaging it here. We're damaging it. We're damaging the environment. We are damaging the habitat of the flora and fauna, wildlife, which is supposed to be listen, Mumba West GMA was a sanctuary for wildlife. You could get any sable, antelope,
I'm told
lions.
so. Yeah.
Yes, that was full. They are gone.
Why?
Why? Because they are allowing Congolese to come and poach. They are full of Congolese. They're poaching, taking meat to Congo where there's no meat.
Really?
Yes. Wildlife is depleted. Then you're going to compare Zambia and Antigua.
Yeah.
No. We are destroying it here. We're destroying the environment.
But is the government aware that there are some foreigners who come to get the game meat?
If they were vigilant, they would know. Late Jean Kapata, the former Minister of Lands, she did a very ambitious program to remove those illegal settlers inside the game GMA.
Yeah.
Because strictly speaking, they're not supposed to be there. But they've gone back. They are plowing there, they're promoting charcoal burning, they are poaching meat, they are poaching wildlife there.
In Mumba?
Yes, Mumba, most of the GMAs. And in the last government, one before this one, is a government which has degazetted more forests than any other government prior to that one. It was notorious for many forest reserves have been degazetted. Remember the famous one in Sinda for somebody's daughter. She just fenced off somebody's daughter. She fenced off big portions of land. Now that's greed. I want to ask you a question. Can I ask you a question also?
Now, I'm interviewing you, but you can ask me.
It's a counter question. I want to ask you, by way to understand, this law Zambezi thing, the argument is that we are setting a very dangerous precedent by allowing such an investment in that park. Because if Mr. Harrington or Pastor Chiruva found the diamonds at the big falls there, and I approach government, what's government going to answer me? I'll be obliged. They will be obliged to give me a mining license, isn't it?
Of course.
Would that be permissible?
Certainly
to
not.
blast up that big falls?
Certainly not.
Yes. So that's the argument. Why then? Why must we apply double standards? I would never have been given a license there, even if I found diamonds. No one would give me a permit to go and mine diamonds there or oil. Start putting rigs by the big falls, oil rigs. But then why must we destroy that nice thing? Why must we destroy that nice forest?
Honorable, it takes me back to what I asked you. What are the lawmakers doing? Both opposition and the ruling. Why can't we have people that will say no to certain things?
I can boast openly here that the Chiluba cabinet, and I go around, I walk, I deliberately walk around. You know why I like walking? To talk to people. When I go in town, I don't drive around from passport office, Bank of Zambia, then Limbadas. No, I walk. Why? I want to talk to people and listen to what they're saying. And many of them will admit that your cabinet was the best.
Solid
Cabinet. You could identify this is a minister, this is a minister, this is a minister. Solid cabinet, principled cabinet. 22 of us sacrificed our positions to defend the constitution or the people's constitution. We knew we were going to be fired, but it didn't matter. What's important is to defend the constitution, and that's the type of parliament we had at that time.
Do we still have the same?
No, except few wanted to take over our jobs. If we are going to be fired, they would be appointed, you see. Selfishness, greed, nothing about...
Yeah,
now
but
the current one, I have my reservations.
But I have, may he so rest in peace, I had a friend of mine, he passed on. He was in your era, yes, Tondo Chindoloma.
Oh, Chindoloma, yes. Very fiery.
Very vocal.
Very fiery.
He never accepted certain things. You know, he would call a spade a spade.
Oh, Tondo Chindoloma, very good.
Tondo Chindoloma.
We enjoyed these debates.
Absolutely. So one day I find him, we met at Woodlands Shopping Center, and we just started chatting. Then he says, Pastor Chilova, your namesake has appointed me to be minister of this. I said, congratulations. He says, no. I didn't even have to think or consult my wife. I turned it down. Because when I go there, I will be compromised, not to talk. And Tondo Chindoloma, may he so rest in peace, went to the grave opposing what was not right. Now, this... nowadays, cabinet ministers, members of parliament, things that you are bringing there, nobody seems to be talking. They all seem to be closing their eyes.
They're not even conversant. They're not privy to these provisions in the principles. They're not. They just don't care. And you see, posterity will judge us very harshly over some decisions we are taking now. They will judge us. You people were there. Those people were there. What happened? What did you do?
May I ask a question before we open up the lines? Do you think in the area of environment, natural resources, there are issues of corruption also? Can corruption be traced somewhere? Not just in this government, in the previous, all these governments. Can we trace some corruption?
In the area of environment? I'm not aware. I have no clear answer to that. But of course, there's always speculation. There's speculation. You know, where permit is not granted, then you authorize it to be granted. There's always speculation.
Without speculation, I've had situations where I'm driving from some place in Zambia at night, and you see these old IFAs moving at 01, 02, and they are passing through the roadblocks, and yet you talk about preserving the environment. Do not cut the trees indiscriminately. But these charcoal burners, they move at night, and where do they bring those sacks? It's here in Lusaka. That's where the biggest market is. So I'm saying, is there corruption in a way? Because, Honorable, if I'm Minister of Environment, you give me permission, I just lift a chopper to go to Mukushi. I don't need permission to look into your yard. I don't need permission to see where smoke is coming from. You mean there are no inspectors who can say...
You don't even use the chopper satellite to pick you.
Yeah, you mean there are no inspectors who can say here the trees are going at an alarming rate?
I was traveling from Kwahai some year ago or so. Between Mumbwa and Lusaka, I counted about 36 trucks. 36.
Trucks of what?
Charcoal.
Coming here?
Yes. Loaded to capacity, where that even on a slight bump it would be like this. Heaped. Cost saving, try to make as much money from one trip.
So there are no roadblocks?
There are, but you see those people, they pay. We don't know how much is paid to the police, let them pass. But there's a belief that there's corruption at the roadblocks. But again, there's also, I don't have the evidence, but I'm given to understand that a lot of policemen actually have trucks also involved in that, just as they have minibuses. Traffic policemen is an open secret, they also own minibuses. They also own minibuses. So how do you expect a law enforcer to
impound a vehicle which is defective?
Yes, for his friends. Because his friend also, Yaba officer, oh, okay. So that possibility is there of corruption. I'm not afraid to say it. In the traffic section, I'd like to believe there's reduced now. I think there's a change of attitude amongst policemen now.
Moving from the issue.
Now, you might also want to know that the issue of corruption in the police service, the measure I took myself, is that people used to come to my office as Minister of Transport and Commissioner of Transport complaining about corruption amongst officers. I said, why don't you report them? They said, no. How do we report when we can't identify them? I signed a statutory instrument making sure to police officers to compel them to wear
an
identity tag and the service number.
Service number.
Yes, I signed that instrument. When you see those things, it's because of me.
But they don't wear them, most of them.
Yeah, the senior ones do wear. The senior ones. And I commend them. In fact, when I see them, I salute. Why? He says, no, because you are complying with the law.
But
your junior ones are not. The junior ones, those senior officers, they are okay. They do wear. But those in town center, many of them don't wear.
Does it mean they don't have the badges?
No, the excuse is that no, they never gave us money, we don't have money, we don't have money. That's the excuse they give.
To have the badges?
Yes, to have the badges done. And I even tell them, I said, you see, you are, oh, Mr. Henry, you are contravening. I said, what? You're also contravening. Ah, John, I said, but you're not wearing
your service number.
Yeah, you're contravening law. Ah, Ndimwe Wandani. I said, but Mr. Henry, I'm the one who signed the law, the minister. Oh, Ndimwe? I said, yes. Ah, sorry. Don't say sorry. You are contravening the law. Just admit.
Honorable.
So that's one measure which we thought was very progressive to compel them to wear identity tags.
As we open the lines, how do you rate this government? Are we on the right track or there is room for improvement?
In terms of performance?
Yeah.
Economically and socially?
Yeah.
Pastor Chiroba. No, for me, I think there's still time for them to improve on what they have done so far. Yes, there's time for them to improve. They are only 2 years into government. I think it's, you can't, they haven't even reached the halfway mark. It's like saying this team is now 40 minutes and you are involved in football. It's now they've played 40 minutes. What do you think they're going to, will they win? So wait and see. But time will come where people will make up their minds. I think the issue of fuel, I think the general people are happy about the fuel situation. That at least the kwacha isn't quite stabilized yet. Okay. The issue of load shedding is no more there. I think people are busy now making money. They are busy with their welding and barber shops and all this. So it's not a crisis anymore. Load shedding I think that we've got over it now.
I see that
Load-shedding.
I see that you are avoiding to step on broken glasses, that you might start bleeding, because you as a former minister, you know what is there. There is no government which is perfect. There is no government, including UNIP.
Yeah.
That's why you took over from UNIP. PF, MMD, and now UPND. If we are to just trace, we can say this needs improvement, you know. So that's why I asked you, but I want to push you. The answers you have given me.
I think President Hakainde Hichilema is very committed to uplifting the living standards of the Zambian people. Of course, we don't live on an island. Certain things affect us. We are part of the global world. If oil prices go up, what do you expect? The World Bank and IMF are not interested in subsidies anymore. They don't want to see government subsidizing fuel, for example. So from that point of view, I think in terms of fuel costs, transport costs stabilized, people are still having it hard, and they always complain about Nzala. You know, they're not having the 3 meals a day. So from that perspective, I think government, there's room for improvement. So
you're talking about fuel. Is it a good thing to budget, to fix prices of fuel every month? You take it down or up? You take it down or up?
Not every month. It makes planning very difficult. People were importing spares, we import foodstuffs, we import this. It makes it very difficult for them. Because today, you are bringing in goods at $22, 2 kwacha per dollar. Next week, it's now 18. How do you sell? How do you sell your imports at a reduced price? It's a loss. Even fuel service stations, fuel companies, the fuel stations, it's very hard for them to, you don't know. So they either not stock up or else take a risk and stock up hoping that price is going to go up. Sadly, unfortunately, sometimes it drops to a price which is, and then they're obliged to sell. So even the transporters who have difficulty to stabilize their fares, bus fares, difficult. So I don't think it's a good thing. I think 6 months or quarterly would be better, so that people have a chance to plan. Every 3 months will be fine, but not every month. Not good.
Well, let's ask the people out there what their views are like and find out. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Permanently blessed. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Kennedy Kabamba, calling you from Katilimponshi.
Kennedy Kabamba.
Yes, from Katilimponshi.
Please go ahead and speak. Remove the volume from your set, sir. We can hear some feedback. Just lower the volume, then we start.
Good evening, Mr. Kennedy.
Sir, remove your volume.
I want to disagree with the Honorable Harrington when he says this government is doing better on the fuel. Yes, I've reduced my volume.
Yeah, what's your question?
Yes, I just want to disagree with the Honorable there when he says this government is doing fine on fuel. We'll start counting on fuel when they reduced below 17 kwacha, because this government found the fuel at 17 kwacha per liter. So when they start reducing from 17 kwacha coming downward, that's when you know that now they have started working. As at now, they are not doing anything. They haven't started working.
They haven't started working.
I respect his observation. I respect his observation.
But it can't be, because right now the kwacha is at 20, isn't it?
Yes.
So to bring it to 17, below 17, it's a lot of work, Honorable.
And the government doesn't just get up one day and say the rate is like this. It's determined by so many factors. Determine the kwacha or the dollar rate. You know, sometimes it's beyond even the capacity of the government to do anything about the rate. The only way is to production must go up in Zambia. Production. That's the only way we can stabilize the dollar rate. Otherwise, but as you say, you point out, you're absolutely right also that it's impossible to bring it the dollar is 20 kwacha per dollar or 22, and you expect the thing to go down to.
So would you say that Mr. Kennedy Kavamba is right when he says the government hasn't started working? I'm sure he's one of the people following the promises that were made, that will reduce fuel, we will do this, we will do that, and this is not. So he's saying that they haven't started working?
No, he's entitled to, I respect his opinion, he's entitled to say it. If he's basing the success of this government on that. Me, I've not come here as a government supporter or thing. I'm just being...
Let's pick up another caller. Hello, good evening.
I'm not a UPND cadre.
Good evening. Hello. Okay. One of the things, Honorable Minister, is that I'm a firm believer that Zambia will liberate itself when we go agriculture. We use our land. Because, put it this way, my wife and I have committed ourselves to planting 7 million avocado trees. And those avocado trees, we are giving at least 3 to the poor people. When I say poor, I'm not looking down on anyone, but I'm looking at my aunties, my uncles, who have nothing to live on, and teaching them that one tree can give you so many fruits, and when it grows, you'll be getting so much income, so that we don't depend, always looking Boma Yanganepo. You know, that mentality, Honorable, is not good for me. So, when we plant, like Dr. Reda says, we plant 70, 80 million trees, don't you think our environment will also change?
You should, yeah.
Let's pick up this call first before. Hello?
Good evening, Pastor.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening, Honorable.
Good evening.
What is your name and where are you calling us from?
You are speaking to Siame, calling within Saka.
Who?
Siame.
Mr. Siame.
Yes.
Please talk to the nation.
Thank you so much for putting me this opportunity. And I like the way the panelist is articulating issues. In the other hand, we need to see to it that we tell government the truth. If we are going to be praising government in everything they are doing, then they will think that they have done a lot. According to what they are telling the nation this time around, they will hear them speaking to say they have done a lot. But that lot we are talking about is not trickling down to the ordinary citizens out there. Because this time around the economy is not conducive for that one average t-shirt to the market. Because someone is selling groundnuts out in Barala level, may die in Barala, and they share 4 days, 5 days. Can you say that there is business in the country? That shows that the liquidity on the market is not there. So what we want government to do is to start programs which will benefit all the Zambians. Yes, we appreciate the recruitment of teachers, nurses, doctors, But that does not mean that the government has done a lot. No. A lot is when Zambian citizens are able to afford that simple minimum, the price of minimum, at least to an affordable price. Government should ensure that the fertilizer should be affordable to every farmer in order for farmers to cultivate and have a fair and cheaper maize at the market so that the price of minimum can come down. Because this time around, if you go in the market where they are selling fertilizer, how much is the bag of fertilizer? And I'm sure that farmers have started preparing for the next season, but we haven't seen the reduction to fertilizer, we haven't seen the reduction to seed. Everything is up. So in conclusion, we expect the government to work on things that will benefit all the citizens in this country. Because when you ask them about when are you reducing the price of minimum, the only answer they will tell you to say, no, we have employed teachers, we have employed the nurses, we have brought free education. They are forgetting that that child who is going to that free education, he needs to eat. Even right now, if you go in this school and see how many the way children are teaching, it's not conducive for quality education. I think that's what I wanted to add value to your program. We are enjoying the show. Indeed, continue bringing people to help the government so that they can do much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Siame.
Just a slight...
You've heard his comments, yeah.
Just a slight correction of him. I never said government, I never praised government for everything. I was basically trying to say, let's give credit where it's due. For example, load shedding. People are now able to get an income. The issue of recruitment of teachers and so on, health workers. Government is right what he said. Government has money to subsidize.
The government has money.
It was on your cabinet news today that government is recruiting so many thousands for the army.
Yes.
And the army is to do what? You know that the military, but I know it's a sensitive thing, we shouldn't, but I will talk about it as a former lawmaker and as a concerned citizen. Where is government going to get money to pay those, just to create him, to fulfill a campaign promise that we are going to get jobs for you youth? What's the army going to do with all those chaps to pay them? Where's the money going to come from to pay those people? Are we at war?
We are doing.
Are we at war to recruit thousands?
We might anticipate from Ukraine it may spill over to Zambia.
From where?
From Ukraine, Russia, it may spill over.
If we start opposing, they will send the house. We need to protect.
Yeah.
But I'm just looking at the principle of it. I really think that type of expenditure. There's other ways. Put them on. Maybe I hope that the army can use those chaps, those people, recruits to open up farms, go in the agriculture, produce tobacco, compete with you, avocados, you see, that type of thing. Fine, but not for defense purposes.
But you see,
the budget for the army at one time, it was worked out about 15 years ago, was 1 billion a day.
1 billion a day?
Yes.
My goodness. That is heavy.
For a year, it was 300 and some odd billion a year defense budget. But we don't discuss
anyway, it's because...
I may be wrong today, I don't know. Maybe we can be corrected by the lawmakers.
But those are issues of defense. I know that some countries spend trillions of dollars per year. But like Mr. Siame is saying, and Kennedy, I think for me, honorable, I don't want to be on cloud nine. There are some practical measures that the government can take, Zambia can take, and we can come up. Yes. One of the visions, honorable, I'm not a lawmaker. I've been on this platform saying, let the government borrow $500 million. Let them borrow $500 million and go to 10 provinces. Each province give $50 million. And from that, give people who have a vision, Honorable, even $1 million, $500,000. It doesn't take much to create millionaires here, because there is a lot of things, even they are paid back. Zambia can do. On Wednesday, Honorable, on our partnership of greatness with my wife, we've come up with a wonderful plan and business where we are going to have a seminar, but we'll talk about it on Wednesday. My wife and I have come up with a plan that those who are in Team Zambia, those who are on poverty eradication program, we want to come up with a program where every member of that, those that will join, they will be getting 1,500 kwacha per month for the rest of their lives. But it takes planning, it takes thinking. We just think in our small way we can contribute. I don't have to go to Parliament to be able to help my brother there, you know. I
listened to a program, sorry to listen before I forget. I listened to a program on radio the other day. This president of which party is it? He was actually saying he's in mining and so on. He was over the controversial land issue where he had sold land in I don't know where, this Nampundu and all this. He says Zambia doesn't have to. You're using the word, why can't government borrow money? His argument, which I tend to agree, if his figures are correct, Zambia doesn't have to borrow money. We've got emeralds here. If we got diamonds, I believe. There's copper. There's
a lot of natural resources. Yes, a lot of it.
They are there. Sugilite.
Sugilite, a lot of money.
If we manage, that's why if you listen to what I was saying in the introduction, you know, sustainable development depends on how well we manage, utilize, exploit our natural resources. If this sector is properly managed, Zambia doesn't have to borrow.
Without being stingy.
Yeah. Zambia, exactly. Without having long fingers. Zambia doesn't have to borrow money. This country is rich. And these countries laugh at us, say, look, we are getting their copper, their wealth. We're making money out of it. Them, they'll remain poor. Why is it that the richest country in terms of resources, the poorest people?
Which one? Is it Congo?
Congo and other countries. Look at Zambia. We've got all the resources here.
Yes, we
But
do.
our people, is right, what you're saying. That our people are in abject poverty. They don't have 3 meals a day. Selling nachos and throat sweets and bubble gum on the street. I mean,
and picking up empty bottles.
Yes, plastics.
Plastics. That's a job
to go and make
which has remained for Zambians.
I met one old man where I'm staying there, big on his back, big baskets. I said, now how much you make out of this? He said something like 5 kwacha a kg.
5 kwacha?
A kg, yes. Now, you know how many kgs on a big basket? It's maybe 2 kgs. Yeah. The old days he's picking bottles. But he makes 520 on a big good day, he makes maybe 20 kwacha. Says at least in Zagula.
Let's pick up this call. Hello, good evening.
Terrible.
Good evening. Permanently blessed. How are you, sir?
I'm permanently blessed. All right.
I like that.
Yes.
What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Brother Masie Jerry.
Masie?
Jerry.
Masie Jerry. You are from Eastern Province. I can guess this. Masie. I know. He lives in Kaoma, but he's from Chipata, this man. Yes. Sure. Masie. It's not a good name. You change it to Chisanga. Anyway. Mr. Masie, please go ahead and speak to the nation.
Yes. Good evening, Honorable.
Kimazi wana shanga wa Jerry.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the stance that you have taken. You have not changed from the time I knew you.
He's talking
The
about
other time we were on the same bus. We were traveling to Western Province. Yeah, and I was just listening to what you were saying. And you are the same. Just a day to day, and I think even forever you will be the same.
No, that is only for Jesus.
My plea is that may you continue to lobby for an endeavor so that all those previous ministers, previous MPs, previous lawmakers come together for the sake of the nation. Because those, that pain that you have over the environment is very, very important for our grandchildren. What legacy are we going to leave?
point.
If we destroy the environment, and the environment, as you have rightly said, can only be protected by using the law. So, previous lawmakers, ministers, and all of that were involved. Some trying to lobby with the help even of the pastor and any other pastor that has got the heart for this nation. Trying to lobby for an endeavor so that you advise the present and even the future, the government that will come. Thank you so very much.
Very encouraging.
Thank you so much, Mr. Masie. You've heard what he has said. Is complimenting your tough stance that you haven't changed.
Thank you for the compliments.
In the saying, continue. That mobilization of former lawmakers and what for the sake of Zambia. Do you think it's possible?
It's good. I think what's basically proposing is a think tank to advise government. We meet once a month, bring out issues, advise this is the way to go, this is the way to go. But we don't know whether the government would accept. Sometimes, we've been in different systems, and they might think that we think we are too clever than them. They want to be given a chance to do it their way. You see what I mean? Now we have this government believes in it's basically what policies would you think this government has now? Then we have the socialists. You think the socialists, when if they assume power, they assume government. I don't like to use the word power. I don't like to use the word power because it gets to people's heads. And they start whipping people in buses and so on. That's what power, that word power, I don't like it. When they get into government, you think the socialists would want advice from the capitalist government, people in the capitalist or presumed capitalist system of government? Do you think so?
So what are you saying? Are you saying that only
they have to follow their manifesto? It's about their manifesto. If I don't believe...
So you are saying that only a pastor should get into government now?
I have no objection to that.
No, but truthfully speaking, I always say this. You see, President HH, President Lungu, President Kaunda, President Sata, with all their cabinets put together, they are too small for Zambia.
Yeah, exactly.
Advice can come from any direction, even an idiot can bring a national idea which can transform the nation. This is what I believe in.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you people that are in power, you don't want to take advice, it becomes a problem. Let's pick up this call. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Justin Kashimoto, calling from Solwezi.
Justin Kashimoto.
Yes.
Please go ahead and speak to the nation.
Yes, my contribution is on the previous caller.
Yes.
Who said we should include the former ministers and the former MPs so that we come together, we make Zambia better. And the pastors, I'm sure. But not all the idea is good, but not all the former ministers. And for example, those from the TF, those people that have damaged our economy. Even those pastors who are aligned to TF, those are not good pastors, which we should include them to make Zambia better. We have a lot of people in Zambia, better people, better former ministers, better former MPs, better pastors who are not partisans, not those who are hiding with TF. You can't do that. You can't develop this country. Let's move with new blood. Even in the political parties, at least the Menamembe who are coming fresh. Not these political parties who have been in the political scene for 10 years, studying the economy. Now they are practicing again together with their pastors. We can't develop this country if we go with them. Thank you very much.
Before you hang Mr. Kashimoto.
Yes.
The attack on their pastors is not justified. I speak that on behalf of the clergy, pastors, priests, or what. Don't go that area, because I've been closely associated to State House. From Dr. Kaunda, he knows, and President Chiluba was my good friend, my big brother, and all the presidents, including the current president, HH. We are good friends, we talk. But to brand the pastors, to say those, and you can't tell, you know, that this one, that one. In every sector, Mr. Kashimoto, there are those who are compromisers. In Bemba we say, umusukubi, utushempanga. So when you start picking the clergy, you are not driving your vehicle on the right lane. Just advice, and also to say that the PF, the UNIP, the Honorable here pointed one document which was written. Was it written before the PF or after the PF? The one for environment. This book you held.
Oh, it was before.
Before PF. So you can see that you mentioned about.
I don't know then, but it was.
He mentioned about institutional memory. Once you make a mistake, you tend to say, there we went wrong. You can become a good advisor to the people who are coming. Are you hearing, Mr. Kashimoto?
2013.
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Yeah, so this document was made in 2013. The one the Honorable Minister referred to, 2013. Now, why is it that all this time it was not followed? Even now it's not being followed. So we are saying, don't rubbish everyone to say this one in PF, this one in UNIP, this one, even those who made mistakes, they can teach you something on the block so that you learn. Here we are talking about national unity or national development. Is that clear, Mr. Kashimoto?
Just a small clarification. I'm not saying all the clergy, all the pastors are bad. I'm saying those who are aligned with the politicians in the church, those are the pastors I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying also that as a pastor, I'm just advising you, because right now, there are some pastors who are aligned with UPND. There are some pastors who are aligned with PF, even in MMD. You remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Even in UNIP. You know, so you cannot stop people from, that's part of the democracy. But here we are talking about the national agenda. How do we help our president or this government and the governments to come? This is what we are talking about.
Yeah, I get you, Pastor.
Mr. Kashimoto, you are a blessing.
Thank you.
And don't forget you were born for greatness. Zambia needs you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you, Mr. Kashimoto.
I think we should remind ourselves also, a lot of people associate the MND government with privatization as a botched exercise. You know, I agree to a certain extent. It was not well managed, not well handled, privatization. You had companies like Lenco who were producing fuel tankers and trailers. I'm a transporter by profession. I know I used to buy a lot of tankers. Those people are now on the street.
From Lenco?
Yes. Fuel tankers.
They were being made here?
Yes. Lenco trailers, tankers. Big, massive things. All the transports at the time benefited from Lenco as a parastatal company.
And it was privatized?
Privatized. What people bought a machinery, turned those things into warehouses. Most of the people in Kalingalinga and all these young guys, most of the old-timers, their fathers used to work there. They taught their children to make door frames. I mean, look at the stuff they produce. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. But I'm saying that there's the stigma attached to the MMD in terms of privatization.
But those are the things where the mistakes that you made, Honorable, the mistakes that the UNIP people made, and the PF, if we come together, this is what Mr. Jerry was saying, if we come together, forget about the party. You know this thing of the party, I hate it like I hate people who come to me, no, I'm Pentecostal, I'm Catholic, I don't like that. Let's meet, are we Christians? Do we use the same Bible? You know, to say that this party, that party, I think we are not going to develop Zambia. We must be patriotic like the Americans. You touch one American, you are touching somebody else. So we need to come together as a nation.
I don't think it would be fair to make a blanket condemnation about the MMD and privatization, because there were some positive things. Because, for example, UBZ was a state monopoly. Content haulage was a state monopoly. You couldn't get into transport as a private citizen without getting authority from those. You had to get a letter approving from the MD of UBZ if you want to open up a...
Let's pick up this caller.
Now today everybody can open buses.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
I'm Cholwe, calling from Livingston.
Cholwe?
Calling from Livingston.
Please go ahead and speak to the nation.
Thank you very much, Pastor Chilova.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Harrington.
Good evening, Mr. Chilova. Good evening.
I remember you from Mondays. You provided us with transport so much when we were still students. However, I want to make a comment. I realize we are talking so much about our past as a nation. And when we talk about our past, we are so concerned about the negatives about the past. Rare do we talk about the good things that we've done as a nation so that we can take advantage of that and move forward. Now, I'm coming from a teaching background. I'm confused. What does the nation want now? Where should we put our premiums in? Coming from a teaching background, I will tell you that my thinking now is that imiti kula empanga.
That's right.
It seems our minds are so confused, but if we can create this cadre of children that are in school now, we talk about the right morals, we talk about development, and we bring the aspect of patriotism in them so that they can move perhaps into a future that is much more clear. It seems to me sometimes that we're too annoyed, and you don't really know where the anger is coming from. You want to associate with this one, you are annoyed with this one, you want to associate with this one, and the other one you don't like. Where are we as a nation? And thank you. Let me just end there, Pastor Chilova. Thank you.
I can tell you, Mr. Cholwe, it's lack of vision by the Zambians. We don't know what is good for us. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, lack of vision, and also we are not patriotic, because if we want to build a Zambia that people will be proud of, you don't have to look at which political party, which tribe, and which...
Exactly.
I think these things, we should go beyond this. We must come up and say, can we build a Zambia that people will be proud of? I think it's lack of vision. What do you think, Honorable, to what he's saying?
I concur.
So let's come together. Mr. Cholo, watch also the program on Wednesday. Are you there?
I am still here.
My wife and I will be bringing something that we feel just us my wife and I will be revealing something, because I'm very passionate about somebody out there, somebody in Shangombo. I think we can make a difference. This is why we are calling Poverty Eradication Program, Honorable.
Yes.
We believe we can create millionaires. We believe we can get people out of poverty without going through Parliament. All we need is the government support, you know. So thank you so much, Mr. Cholo, and may God bless Livingstone.
Thank you so much, and we should remove the anger of the nation.
Absolutely. No, we will.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Director, please give us some text messages for now so that we can read. Honorable William Harrington, God has a good reason for still keeping you alive. Have you seen that?
Oh,
You have a responsibility to Zambia. Please state why you won't sue the state on our behalf with all the knowledge and evidence in your possession.
to sue the state what?
He says, please state why you won't sue
The state.
the government,
To sue it on what?
on behalf of people.
About what? What issue?
This breaking of the law, Forest 26, Forest, the things you are, why can't you sue the state? This is why he's saying you have evidence. Why not sue the state?
Yeah, this thing shouldn't be left to one person alone, you see. It's a collective effort. He is also a citizen of the country. He can go to any lawyer and sue as a concerned citizen. You see.
But this is what I said. Honorable, sorry to say this. In Zambia, there are too many cowards. Me as a preacher, when I'm preaching and the Bible says God will judge the fearful, I understand why God says even the fearful have their part in the lake of fire. Because you know what to do and you don't want to do it. You would rather say, Kutiva panika. You know, this is destroying the nation.
Yeah.
So he's saying, people like you, why can't you put your document together and sue the government?
We do it as a joint effort. There's these CSOs who can take it up.
I will join you.
Yeah, no problem. You'll be my vice.
You will be my vice. But honestly,
my vice petitioner.
you see, we need to keep governments in checks and balances.
Sure.
Because if somebody had sued UNIP for the wrong things they did, MMD would have come on a better slate.
I've acquired the name. Sometimes when I go in town there, 427.
Yeah. Yeah, what I'm saying, Honorable, is that if somebody sued,
shouldn't be left for.
Yeah, if somebody sued UNIP, sued UPND, sued PF, and in future sue UPND, people will be afraid to say, if I do this,
it's okay as far as
I may answer for this.
As far as enlightening or making an issue of something, it's all very well. But to sue the state, to sue the state, you think...
Yeah, but if it's against the constitution to damage the environment in Lower Zambezi,
let's see.
And also Forest 27.
I might be letting the cat out of the bag. Just said I don't know what action now following the government decision to order the stoppage of the developments in the mine. I don't know. You know, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Okay. I don't want to preempt.
Let's pick up some more text messages from our director. I agree that one of the serious oversights in addressing the vexing environment concerns in the country is failure to take into consideration institutional memories. That's what that man is saying. Failure to take into consideration institutional memory. Pastor Chiluba and Honorable, is there any good works that PF did during their time in the government? I have seen it's just negative in infrastructure and the economy. This is Michael. Now he's asking, are there some good things that PF did or they didn't do anything?
First, I don't want to be drawn in those assessments.
But we are answering there.
Yeah, but I'm entitled also to answer like that.
Okay, let me answer.
I don't want to, If he asks me about issues on environment...
Okay, let me answer that question.
Yeah, you answer.
Let me answer that. You see, when you people came into power, you condemned the Kaunda as UPN, as the MMD. No, Kaunda this, Kaunda did this. What good things did he do? You know, there are many things that he did, but we ignored everything. When you people came into power as MMD, you did so many things, but
on the environmental perspective, he opposed any...
No. I'm not just looking at one sector. This question is, are there good things that he did? So I am saying, let me put it in short, every government will do good and wrong things because they are not angels, including PF. They did good and wrong things, including UPND. I will tell you that after UPND is done and dusted, you are going to come up and say, they did this, they did. President HH is not an angel. So this is why I'm saying, any person, as long as we are in this flesh, you are bound to make mistakes. Now I'm answering as a pastor. Which question you have failed to answer, you don't want to answer.
Failed.
Me, as a pastor, I can say that every government, they have negatives and positives.
I'm resisting to answer, not...
Now I've answered that there are negatives and positives in every person.
Yeah. Now, you see that question on the suing the state. There's one ground which is very good, which is a good basis to sue the state. It's again on the issue of the Constitution.
The Constitution.
The Constitution, under the Bill of Rights, Part 5, social and economic rights, at Section 52, says this section or whatever paragraph was, states that, quote, a person has a right to clean and safe water. That's what the Constitution says.
Clean and safe water.
This is a basic human right enshrined in our Constitution.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's enshrined there. So what's happening in Forest 27, for example, and even the mine, which is putting people's lives at risk because of the expected cyanide, which may pollute the water and the lives of compromised lives. That's a good ground for suing the state. That alone, it's a breach of the violation of the Constitution.
Like you said, the condoms which are floating in the rivers because of the...
Robert Chimambo will tell you, my friend, he'll tell you about it. They went there on inspection, they were checking the effluent coming from the ZAF into the Chongwe thing. The condoms are floating there.
My wife and
the children were balloons now, they were making Christmas time, they were making balloons for Christmas.
Oh, God help us. We went to Lusaka West with my wife, just beyond Mwembeshi. There's a river somewhere that you cross when you go to the east. I don't know whether that forms part of Chongwe River. I don't know how it flows. Honorable, we stopped by the river. It was all fecal matter.
Yes.
And this is a perennial stream. And nobody checks that, but there are cows there and there are people there. Like you said, we are entitled to clean and safe water. Nobody checks. The government just drives through.
The state is obliged to provide it under the Constitution. They're obliged under the Constitution to provide safe and clean water.
Oh, God. Mr. Director, please give me some 3 text messages, then we pick up the last call. Good evening, Honorable. Kindly state where Forest 27 extends from UNIP days up to today. Because if you need to regazette Forest 27, then all the houses which are in that Forest 27 should be demolished. How big is this Forest 27?
It was originally 1,700 hectares.
1,000?
Yeah, hectares or acres. 1,000, but that's a figure, 1,700. Then the Patriotic Front government, for this thing, they took away 1,100, left only about 600-700 hectares. Now, if you are talking about climate change, Is that going to help to mitigate?
But his question, if I understand where it extends from, Honorable, it means even that...
I thought you were talking about the size.
No, even in that police camp, State Lodge, including that State House, I mean State Lodge, is it not in Forest 27?
What I know about that one is that if you go on the Leopards Hill Road, you get the police barrier.
Yes, the police barrier.
The road goes to
Chiawa.
Yes. You turn left there. You go about half a kilometer or less than a kilometer. That area, there's a road now leading into that Forest 27. This way there's a massive housing complex there. This way they demarcated plots for houses.
But their house is also the right, which would be...
Oh, no, those are entitled from long time. It doesn't affect. No.
It doesn't affect.
You're talking, easy. If he's talking about Chimambo's plot, no, that is got title from long time. It's not part of Forest 27. Even the one High Court judge is also got a plot.
So how do you
demarcate? It's that road.
The third road which goes to State Lodge.
Yeah, you turn there.
So on the left, that's Forest 27.
Yes.
Only that is Forest 27.
It comes up to the ZAF. ZAF were taken to court by the Chimambos. The ZAF. They were taken to court.
Did they win?
I don't know. I don't know what's the outcome of that case.
Honorable.
I don't know what's the outcome of that case. I think he's better answer to. He will be in a better place to answer that one. I don't know.
Is there a map for Forest 27?
Yes.
There's a demarcated map.
Yes.
Okay. Now, why can't you take state to court for failing to demolish the houses in Forest 27? Is it because they are ex-ministers, prime ministers, whatever they are called, grouped in there?
Yeah, the government is a big problem there. But as I say, concerned citizens should pose that. You should pose that question to the citizens who are calling. You should say, why don't you take it up?
Maybe
you see, we environmentalists, we've tried our best to say.
Maybe we start with the minister, Gary Nkombo, who knows that area, because he was so vocal during that. When I come, we'll demolish this. No, we have to see you.
Let's even go further than that. Here we are being very candid. It's in public domain.
Yeah.
President Hakainde Hichilema appeared one day on Let the People Talk. Did you see that one?
No.
You haven't seen that one? He condemned.
He condemned what?
He opposed the housing development. He even mentioned my name.
Forest 27?
Yes. He says Mr. Harrington was right. He is right.
When he was in the opposition?
Yes. Yes. He said, he mentioned my name. I'll send you a clip of that one. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
On your WhatsApp.
Yeah.
He appeared on movie TV. Live program. He said it. What can we do? We just wait and see. He condemned it. He said he went there. He said, I saw what Mr. Harrington was talking about. There's fish dying in the Chongwe River. It's going to affect the people. If the fish can die, even people will die because they're eating that fish. Poisoned fish. He appeared. I've sent it to you.
So the president is aware about it also?
About what?
About the forest.
Of course. Of course he's aware. I don't want to reveal what discussions I had with him about that further than what we have said now. No. That is for me. I don't want to to talk about it.
Yeah, no, it was private, and I will respect
But what he said encouraged me to fight on.
Yeah.
But now...
Fight on. Well, Honorable, this, like you said, we can't exhaust this environmental thing. Probably I will take some time this week or next week to visit my Honorable Minister, Mr. Honorable Nzo, to find out. He's a Minister for Environment, isn't he?
Collins. Collins over here.
Yeah.
Good
to find out.
I like him.
He's a wonderful man.
But again,
he's a wonderful man.
We need decisive affirmative action from him. But you see, there are interests there. There's a Ministry of Mines. We don't know whether they are protecting that mine from going ahead, or they say, we don't know what to discuss in cabinet. We don't know. We don't know what commitments the government has made to the promoters of the mine. We don't know. So it's a matter of now the environment and and development and mining.
What would be your last words to the nation regarding the environmental condition in Zambia?
Well, firstly, I just want to conclude by saying thank you for that opportunity. That as concerned citizens, we believe we have tried our best, our very best, to convince our new dawn government on the need to re-gazette the major part of the Lusaka East Local Forest Zone Mode 7, and thereby revoke all title deeds that were issued in the area by the former Patriotic Front government. We still contend that it was immoral, unreasonable, and unjustifiable, and against the provisions of the Constitution of Zambia for the previous government to selfishly dissect, to butcher this pristine forest reserve, which is so critical to the lives of the present generation, the people there, as well as future generations. So what I'm saying is that I want to ask through your thing that we need affirmative action from the government, not just what could be referred to as rhetoric. We need to provide safeguard the natural resources. Otherwise, posterity will judge us.
And if the government doesn't act, what is the way forward?
You see, as Mr. Chimambo always reminds, he always says, look, the problem is that each government comes, they want to change things. Kaunda, during Kaunda's time, that Chalibana source of the Chalibana and the thing were always there. When MMD came, it doesn't mean the source changed of those rivers. It doesn't change. Change of government doesn't change the source of the river. Okay? It doesn't change the underground water, the water aquifer. It doesn't change. If you when the PF came, who came after thing? The PF. Doesn't mean
it was you.
Yeah, no. Doesn't mean when PF came. That means again the source changed. The source of the river still remained there. So those laws governing those places should remain. The course of the river doesn't change with the change of government.
Yeah.
It doesn't change with the change of government. It remains there. So successive government should have respected that, and recognize that these sources of rivers are there permanently. They cannot be changed. They'll never change them. And to build that complex there, to me it's criminal. It's criminal, to say the least. It's the most scandalous, most criminal action so far, just like the Kabwe mine, which is now causing problems for people. These are manifesting now. So we'll see. We can only wait and see. We don't know. Let's, let's. We cannot. Illegality. We've heard about illegalities and demands. We've heard of demands that the law on illegal structures should be applied in the public and national interest without fear or favor. Okay. And Forest 27 should not and cannot be an exception to this law. The law applies to all and sundry. There's no law for poor people, law for rich people. The law, if
you can demolish Chingola, you can demolish
exactly
Forest 27.
We would like to hear from Parliament, maybe this sitting, somebody can raise the issue on our behalf.
Okay.
And find out what is the status of this thing, maybe through during the Vice President's question-answer time.
Okay. Honorable Harrington, we are in news time. I'm so thankful for shedding more light and what we need to do, because if water is contaminated, Zambia doesn't have enough money like Gaddafi had to draw water from 2,000 kilometers and bring it for the people to drink. We can only use what God has given us.
Absolutely.
So it is to the lawmakers in Parliament to look at the law which you quoted. Let's not favor because you belong to this party or this party, and you look at the people of Zambia. 30 years after you have left your parliament seat, 50 years after you are long gone, buried, dead, what would you expect the Zambian people and your children to do? To live in a contaminated environment or not? I've been your host, Pastor Moses Chiluba. On behalf of my wife, Pastor Victoria Chiluba, the CEO of this broadcast, I just want to thank Honorable Harrington. He's supposed to be resting and just stretching himself, but he's here in the studio.
I'm a street adult.
Street adult. I like that. Thank you for coming. To the young men that are on duty and those that are off duty, Camnet TV, you are just the best. We'll see you on Wednesday. Please get ready. My wife and I will come with a program on poverty eradication and be part of it. In the meantime, keep watching Camnet TV. Remember, Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable.
Give me a chance to thank you very much, you and your good wife,
yes,
and your staff here for this great program. I hope we can discuss environment more often.
Absolutely.
It's about our lives and the lives of our children and our children's children.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, and God bless you.